This is the video for Unit F, adding special elements to a document for Microsoft Word in Office 2013. Hope you've already reviewed the videos for Units D and E. This will be the final video for Microsoft Word, and we're going to move into the objectives of this unit now. Just to cover the objectives, the first one is create a table. We're going to learn how to create a table, insert that into a Word document. We're also going to learn how to insert and delete table columns and rows. We're going to learn how to format a table. We're going to add clip art, add footnotes and citations, which is what you'll need to know how to do to format your research paper properly. And then the objectives. We're going to, additional objectives rather, we're going to insert a header or footer, add borders and shading, work with themes, and we're going to format a research paper. Alright, so these are the topics that we're going to cover in this unit. So let's see, to begin with, let's go back and take a look at our first objective, which was create a table. So we're going to tab over to Microsoft Word, and we're going to find, let's see, this is file F1, as you can see from the top of the screen. This should be the tutorial file that you will be editing for your tutorial. Now, I'm not going to go step by step as the book does, but you will when you complete your tutorial. So please do not take everything that I do to this file literally, because you will have specific instructions in the tutorial that you will turn in as part of your assignment, and that's the instructions that you should follow. Alright, so we're going to, let's see, find green team. Alright, first thing we're going to do is learn how to insert a table. And I'm going to, or actually to create a table. Insert a table, create a table, similar concepts. So the first thing that we want to do is when we're asked to create a table, we should find the functions to do that on the Insert tab. And that's one of the things, and I'll give you a tip here for the test. When you're asked to insert or something of that, given an action word like that on a test question, usually a pretty good indicator of what we're asking you to do. Insert, create, keywords like that, you'll notice, and should give you a good hint of where to begin. Okay, so to insert the table, there's a couple ways to do that. You can see you've got a table group here. It's got a table icon. It's got a drop down arrow. There's a couple ways to do it. First, you can we'll move to the bottom here. You can insert a table, which will just give you a default table. Insert into the document. You can draw a table using your mouse and cursor by clicking and holding the left mouse button and drawing a table. There are quick tables that you can see are built-in tables. Looks like most of the examples here are calendars, tabular lists, things like that. But the option that we're going to use is this one at the top. It's called Insert Table. And what you do is you hover over the number of squares that you want the number of fields, rows, columns that you want to input. For example, if I want just a single cell table, I would hover over the top left square, which represents just one cell. If I want a table that has two cells, then I would move over one. And you can see this has two columns, one row. So we're on the same row, but we got two different columns. Okay. So if I wanted to insert a table that had 3 columns and 3 rows, I could go over 3 columns and down 3 rows. And that table is a 3 by 3. You can see at the top of the table dialog box here where it says Insert Table. Watch when I hover over the 3 by 3 table. You can see it's represented there. So that lets you know that excuse me, that lets you know that you're asking for 3 columns and 3 rows. So that's the one I'm going to pick. And once I get my table, now I'm ready to populate data in it. So let's see, just taking a few examples out of the book. Looks like on page 152, figure F3, I'm going to take some of that text I'm going to type in here. We're going to type in here green team green teams rather. Team leader. And department. Whoops. And the second row, we're going to type in waste reduction. Team leader is Brad Fitzgibbons. First name was Brad. Okay, I'm going to move on to the last cell on the second row. And he works in the finance department. Now, moving to the final row, green team recycling. Their team leader is Erica. Looks like Litz. Having difficulty seeing my text. And Erica works in the customer services department. Okay, so that's how you insert a table. Go to the Insert tab, Table, select the number of cells that you want, click it, and your table will appear in the document. Alright, let's see. Next item is Insert and Delete Table Columns and Rows. Okay, so once we've got a table and it's selected, we should see what you will begin to notice as a reoccurring theme in Microsoft Office, a contextual tabs for certain objects. So what does that mean? So for certain objects in Microsoft Word, like tables, like charts when we get to Excel or PowerPoint, photos or images, they are fall into that category of objects that when selected, as this table is selected, you can see it's highlighted, there will be a tab that appears at the top of the screen with a couple of sub-tabs underneath it, and those are known as contextual menus. Now watch what happens when I click off of this table. It goes away. Those tabs go away, so they're only active when the table is selected. Alright, so let's take a look at the Design tab and see what we have. Let's see, we have the ability to change some table style options. We have the ability to change the options. We have some table styles on the Design tab. We can modify the table style, clear it, new table style, and there's also some predefined table styles available for us to use. And if you notice, if you watch the table in the background, as I hover my cursor, there's a preview made available so you can see what exactly your table will look like. Let's see what else. We have some shading, borders, and we can change the borders, the weight of the font, the color, and we can also erase some lines if needed. Alright, so that's on the Design tab under the Table Tools contextual menu. Let's take a look at the layout. Alright, let's see layout. So the next item on the objectives was to learn how to insert and delete table columns and rows. Okay, so there are some options on the Layout tab that give us the ability to do that. So if I were to say I want to insert a row between waste reduction and recycling, those two teams, I would select that row, go to the Layout tab, and I would say Insert above, and I would get a new row. You can see there. Okay. If I wanted to delete, I could click Delete Row, and it would delete it. Again, Delete Row. Now I'm back to the original. I can also select a row, right-click, and Insert rows below, and I get a new row. Likewise, I can right click, delete rows. So very simple to insert and remove rows in a table. Alright, format a table. To format a table, first you want to begin with selecting the table, and you can do several things. You can go to the Design tab. You can use the predefined styles that are made available to you, as we touched on a minute ago. Any of these are available. You can use them. You can also increase the border width or weight of the line by using the options in the draw. Actually, this is in the draw borders section, so this would be used to draw a border. Let's see. Let's go back to what I really wanted to show you was how to change the border. All right. Let's say I wanted to just leave inside borders. You can see that my table was selected. I changed. Excuse me. And I changed the border to inside borders only, which you can see the heavy weighted lines here, the inside borders only. If I wanted to revert to where I was, I could click all borders, which is what I was. Actually, or you can undo, which you can undo and out Microsoft Office by using the Control-Z keyboard shortcut. Alright. If I also wanted to format the table further, I could go to the Layout tab. Let's see. Okay. Not finding what I'm looking for. It must be on the Design tab, and there it is. We want the shading. So if I wanted to shade that table a green color, I could select it, click the shading option, and then select the color that I want to shade. I can make it any color that I want. If I want it to be blue-gray, yellow, purple, whatever color I like, aqua or light blue, orange, or I can just choose to go with green. Just another way to format a table. You can also align the text. Let's see. Text direction, we can center it all in the center of the cell. We can put it, we can right justify, we can center justify, align top, align center, and align center left. That's where we were, so that's where we're going to return to. Okay. Alright, so those are just some ways to format a table. There are further details in your PowerPoint presentation I suggest you review after this lecture is over. Let's see, so we formatted a table. We can also add clip art. So one way to add clip art to a document, we're going to go to the bottom of the document, and we're going to select the Insert tab, look for the clip art icon, and we should be given some options. Let's see, we want to search for the planet Earth. It's a piece of clip art that shows the planet Earth. Alright, in the right hand column we have a few options and I like this option here, so I'm going to double click it and it will be inserted. Now please note that is a very large piece of clip art, and I want my clip art photo to fall on the last page and not create a photo of its own. Looks like I clicked it twice and got a duplicate image, so I'm going to delete that one. Okay, so there's a couple ways to resize this piece of clip art. And this goes back to what I touched on a few minutes ago with the contextual menus. You can see I have the piece of clip art selected. You can see the handles present on the screen. And if you look at the top, I have a Picture Tools Format tab that's part of a contextual menu that shows up when the photo is selected or when the clip art is selected. So I can do several things. I can resize using my height and width boxes to the right if there's an exact size that I want. I can crop the photo, which when I crop the photo, what I do is I cut out portions of the photo. So for example, if I don't want to show, but let's say this much of the photo, and you can see it removes it. I cropped out the other portion of the image. I'm going to press a Control Z to undo that, and now I'm back to normal. So there's many ways to edit a photo or a piece of clip art. In this case, I want to resize it, so I'm going to select it, and I'm going to grab the resizing hand on the bottom right corner, and I'm going to pull it up to the top left, and it's going to make my clip art a little bit smaller. Make it just a tad bit smaller than that. Okay, so now I've got my clip art resized the way I want it, but I want it centered. So I highlight the image, and just like I can center text, I can center an image. Just select the image, and then press the center key. Okay, so let's see. We've added clip art. Now let's take a look at footnotes and citations. This will be important when you are preparing your research paper. So let's see. To add a footnote or citation, go to the Insert tab, and you can see that we have footnotes and citations. Alright, one correction for footnotes and citations, those are actually on the References tab, not the Insert tab. Footnotes are, headers and footers rather, are on the Insert tab, so just let me clarify that. We want to be on the References tab. Alright, so I'm going to put in a footnote pertaining to this quote. The last sentence in this paragraph: I'm outraged by the Outdoor Designs packaging. They need to do their part to preserve our planet by using packaging made from recycled materials. Alright, so I want to cite this quote. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go to the Review tab, or excuse me, the Reference tab, and I want to click the Style List arrow, and I want to use MLA 7th edition, which is going to be the citation and bibliography style that we're going to use. And then I'm going to click Insert Footnote, which is located in the Footnotes group. Let's see here. Actually, it's AB Insert Footnote. So and you can see at the bottom of the page, it's created a blank footnote for me to type my information in. So in this case, in this footnote, based on number 4 on page 160, which is where we discuss footnotes and citations in the textbook, we're going to type this sentence: this year's efforts resulted in 15% reduction in energy costs. Okay, and then we're done. So now we see that our footnote is at the bottom of the page, and if we scroll back up to the last sentence in that paragraph, we can see our footnote is labeled by a 1. I've got it highlighted right there. So there's our footnote. And that's how you insert a footnote. You select the place where you want to put the reference, select Insert Footnote. It will take you to the bottom of that page with a blank footnote, and you can type in your footnote there. Okay? Alright, now the next thing we want to do is we want to insert a citation. So with our cursor in the same location, we want to click Insert Citation. Okay, and let's see. We're going to click Add New Source because this is a new source. Alright, so click the type of source list arrow. In this particular case, we're going to use article in a periodical, which is already selected. Our author, per the example in the book, is going to be Max Michaels. let's see, the title is going to be Green Packaging for a Greener Planet. Periodical title is Build It Monthly. Whoops. And actually, got ahead of myself. So let's go back to Michael's and see if we can edit. There we go, edit citation. Let's see. Edit source. There we go. So I pressed enter too quickly, as that's what happened. That's why my dialog box disappeared. But you can see and learn from my mistake there. If you press enter, the way to get this dialog input box back is select the citation, click the drop down arrow, edit source. Okay, so let's see, where were we? Build It Monthly, the year 2016, which we know has not happened yet. Month, January. Day 5, pages 22, 23, and the medium, which I don't see an option for the medium, was magazine. Alright. Yes. Okay, so that's how you insert a citation. Now we want to hit Control End to move to the bottom of the document, and we're going to add this to our Works Cited page. Alright, now we're going to hit Control Enter to add a hard page break so we can start our Works Cited page. And we're going to click the Bibliography button in our Citations and Bibliography group and click Works Cited. Works Cited in the navigation pane. And what this does is, as we go through the document and we make our citations, Word will capture that information for you, and at the end of your paper you can perform the function that I just did. Create a new page, click Bibliography, Works Cited, and all of those references and citations that you input through the course of typing your paper will be populated automatically for you on your Works Cited page. It's a very nice feature to have. Okay, so that's footnotes and citations. Now, we're going to go back to headers and footers. So for this particular example, we're going to, let's see, work a little bit of the example on page 162. So let's see, we're going to go to the Insert tab. We'll go to the top of the page, click the Insert tab, and we want to insert a header. Excuse me, we're going to start with the footer. Let's start with the footer. Alright, so we were given some options. We can use a built-in blank, we can use a built-in footer, which are one that's created for us already. We can start with a blank one. We can start with one that's blank but has 3 columns, alphabet, annual, just whatever we want to, whatever prearranged footer or predefined footer works for us. So in this case, we are going to click the footer button, and then we're going to click blank, which is this one. Alright, and then we're going to click the date and time button. Pay close attention to this. There's a function on our contextual menu for headers and footers. You can see headers and footers tools. The design tab is a green tab. It's active. Our footer is waiting for us to type text. You can see it's highlighted and waiting on us. Date and time. Click that. We will take this format, the second one. Click OK. And now we've got a footer that has today's date and time. Alright, now we're going to insert a header. Similar steps. Insert tab, header, blank 3 columns. Now at the top of the page, we've got a header. Let's scroll to the very top of the first page. we're going to click the left aligned type here placeholder. So the left aligned will be this one. I'm going to press delete because we're not going to use that one. I'm going to click the center aligned placeholder, click delete, and then in the right aligned placeholder, we're going to type our name. So Brian Coleman. Alright. Type your name, press spacebar, and then click the page number button in the header and footer group. Page number, point to current position, then click plain. And there we are. So that's how you insert a header. Let's see, we're going to click the different first page checkbox in the options group on the header and footer tools design tab. And what this does, it means that we do not want a header or a page number on the first page. We want it to be more of a title page, right? We want the title at the top of the page to appear first. We don't want the footer to, or excuse me, the header to appear. All right, so now that's header and footer. Those are some examples for you. You should work those same examples or similar examples during your tutorial. Now, let's take a look at what the next objective is. Borders and shading. Okay, so borders and shading, we're going to go flip back over to Microsoft Word. We're done with our header and footer, so we can click the X and close that feature out. We are going to the Home tab and click the Find button. And then click Pages tab in the navigation pane. Let's see here. Let's do this. Let's do a Control F. Okay, this is a good example. This particular feature, the Pages tab in the navigation pane, is not available in this earlier version of, actually there it is. You can click Go to Page and click Page 4, or in your version you should have a thumbnail that represents Page 4 if you're using Office 2013. And you can click that thumbnail and it will also take you to page 4. Alright, so we're going to select the Outdoor Designs Vision heading and the 2 lines of text below it. Alright, so we've got those lines selected. And then we're going to click the shading button list arrow in the paragraph group, which is here. And once we do that, we're going to click green accent 6 lighter. Let's see, green accent 6, darker, lighter, and we're looking for lighter 80% and 60%, and there's green accent 6, lighter 80%. So we're going to click that, and now we've got a green background that you can make out from here all the way around that box of text. Okay. All right. So now that we've got the shading added, we're going to go to the borders list. I'm going to click the border drop down. And we're going to click, let's see, click the borders and shading. Alright, in the box setting, we're going to select the color list arrow right here. And we're going to click the darkest shade of green in the theme color as the 10th shade on the 6th row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's our border. I'm going to click OK. Click anywhere to view it, and you can see that we have the dark green border surrounding around our 3 lines of text, and it has a light green shading in the center. Alright. So that was how to add borders and shading. Now we're going to work with themes. Themes are an easy way to format a paper without doing a whole lot of manual formatting yourself. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to flip back over to Microsoft Word at the very top of the document, and we're going to click the View tab, and we're going to click the multiple pages. Let's see, in the Zoom group. See, page with 1 page, 2 pages. Okay, we're going to go with the one or actually the 2-page view here. On the zoom out button, on the zoom slider, 2 to 3 times. We're going to click down here until we get to 30. Okay, so now we can see the multiple pages, and we did that by using the zoom slider at the bottom. Alright, now we're going to click the Design tab. Let's see. Or in this particular version of Microsoft Office, is going to be in a different location. Let's see. So we're looking for the Themes tab. So once we have all of our pages selected, we're going to click the drop down arrow, and we can select a style. Any of the styles will do. In this case, this is just an example, but you can see the important thing to remember is that as I hover, you can see the styles change. Alright, we're going to stick with the default style here, and we're going to save, and that's how you work with themes. And then lastly, format a research paper. That is covered on page 168 and 169. I won't go through this, but what I will say is that these are the guidelines for a research paper. You can find the steps for formatting the first page of a research paper in Table F1. You can also find the steps for formatting a whole research paper in Table F2. That's on page 168. I suggest you familiarize yourself with this prior to beginning your research paper. If you have questions, please let me know. Okay, and lastly, now that that's the last tutorial for Microsoft Word, I'm going to quickly cover those two assignments, the research paper and the resume. Alright, so let's go to assignments. Microsoft Word assignments. Unit C through F, this is where you'll turn in your tutorials. You'll click this link where I'm pointing and you'll upload your files after you've zipped them together. Microsoft Office research paper. Okay, you can see you have an attached file that has CIS 146 research paper assignment guidelines. You click the PDF link, or the link, and then a PDF file will appear. Alright, and we're waiting on the PDF file. And once it's loaded, waiting for it to open, you can see that there are some guidelines here. Research paper, this assignment is part of a special project for Shelton State. It's an argumentative essay. So we're going to choose one of the following essay editorials below which you disagree with and write an essay in opposition. So that's the directions. There are 5 articles below. We'll get to those in just a second. That you're going to pick one out and you're going to write a research paper in opposition to it. The essay requirements are: be clear, explicit, and assertive thesis statement. You must have a clear, explicit, and assertive thesis statement. A clear introduction and conclusion. Minimum of 5 paragraphs in length, including introduction and conclusion. 2 outside sources, which must be properly cited both within the text and on a works cited page using using consistent MLA documentation format. Let me point out one thing. 2 outside sources. The article that you're going to be writing in opposition to cannot be used as a source. You're going to have to come up with two more. Let's see, the next bullet point, please limit the use of direct quotations. Instead, use your own words to develop your argument. So that's very important. You want to not use a bunch of quotes in your paper. You want to take the information and kind of synthesize it, reword it into your own words to get your point across. Alright, and then a special set of instructions for this particular assignment is you must submit your research paper through Turnitin.com and through the Blackboard class assignment link. And this will count as a part of the course grade. Alright, so here are the directions to Turnitin.com. If you're not familiar with Turnitin.com, it is an anti-plagiarism website. So it's used by educational institutions all over the country, maybe even the world. I'm not sure about worldwide, but I know it's used nationwide to basically prevent plagiarism. Your file will be uploaded to Turnitin.com, and it will compare it with other files, other publications, and just to make sure that I won't say no, but a certain percentage of plagiarism isn't reached. Okay, so it'll compare your papers against other papers just to make sure that it's not a exact like for like copy, and that a certain percentage doesn't exist. And then our department, the CIS department, will get a report, so we'll know how you did. Okay, so to turn it in, you would go to Turnitin.com to submit your paper to Turnitin.com. Create a new account. This will be your class ID, 9329844. Password is SSCC1234. Class name, in this case, this says CIS 146 Spring 2015. This will still apply to our class. Do not cut and paste the information from an outside source. Instead, write in such a way that we will know that you understand your position and can describe what you believe in your own words. Let's see. Pages of your textbook that contains guidelines for the MLA format of 168 and 169. And then whatever paper is submitted must have the following information as shown in the book: a right-aligned header with your last name followed by a page number, your name and the name of the professor, in this case the instructor, in class as shown in the book, a centered title, at least 5 double-spaced paragraphs with a half-inch first line indent, margin set to 1 inch, at least 2 footnotes or endnotes, and a works-cited page with a hard break. So the point of this exercise is to learn how to format a research paper. So those are the important steps to remember. Those are the tasks that we want to make sure that you complete, is the formatting correctly. Now for the articles, you will select one of the articles for the assignment. Full copies of the articles are located on pages 2 through 13 of this file we're looking at. And those 5 articles are: Women Should Learn About Guns for Security, The Aftermath of Bin Laden's Assassination, Privilege, Not Job, College athletes shouldn't be paid, 17 million reasons to raise the minimum wage, Watching the uproar over Wisconsin protests, it's time to remember how unions make our lives better. So those are the 5 articles, and then directly below you'll start finding those articles. Okay, so that is a research paper assignment. Now, let's take a look at the resume assignment. Also located in the Microsoft Word Assignments folder. We're going to click Resume Guidelines, and I'll quickly cover this with you. The resume, you can create a resume from scratch, or you can submit a resume that you've already done. So if you just elect to use a resume that you've already done, just please make sure that you follow these criteria, or that it meets these criteria, or that you edit your existing resume to meet these criteria. If your resume is very brief, you should create a resume which will reflect what you would like your resume to look like in 10 to 15 years. So if you have no work experience, you're a student, let's say right out of high school, you've never had a job, then you can come up with a resume for what you would like to see, or where you would like to see yourself in the next 10 to 15 years. Okay. All right, and here are some guides to writing resumes. They're generally 1 to 2 pages in length. Grammar should be excellent. Generally, you do not abbreviate unless it's appropriate. Let's see. Focus on what services you can provide the employer. You should approach this that you are trying to offer a service to your prospective employer. And go approach the resume with a this is what I can do for you attitude instead of what can you do for me attitude. That's how you should always approach these types of situations. School should be listed from current or last school attended in reverse chronological order. So if you are attending Shelton State currently and your last school was high school, you would list Shelton State first, dates of attendance, and then you would list your high school after that, and then nobody probably wants you to go back any further than high school, because at that point it's just really not beneficial. Your employment, if you've ever been employed, should be listed from your current job in reverse chronological order. Education will be listed first for a recent graduate. Employment will be listed first if it was more recent and more applicable to the position. If possible, references should be tailored to individual company, especially if one of your references is known by the prospective employer. If possible, interests should be tailored to individual company, especially if one of your interests is the same as a prospective employer. Okay. So those are the guidelines for the resume. If you have questions, please let me know. I'll post this video to Blackboard and to YouTube, and you'll be able to view it at either one. Thank you.